Hello everybody, I'm Steven Zierk, and this is my first lecture in a series of lectures on pawn endgames. Pawn endgames are a very important fundamental area of endgames as a whole. The endgame is one of the most important, if not the most important, area in chess itself. My first teacher actually taught me, for example, that if you wish to understand chess as a whole, you should study the endgame first, because, for example, if you wish to understand the middle game, you really want to understand the endgames that can come out of it. And if you don't understand those, you can't understand the middle game. Consequently, same thing, if you can't understand the middle games, then you can't understand the openings that they come from. So this lecture, first in the series, is a very basic one. It will cover the first few fundamentals of pawn endgames, such as the square of the pawn, the opposition, and key squares. This is largely meant for people who are very inexperienced with the endgame, but have a fair knowledge of chess as a whole. So the first technique we'll cover is the square of the pawn. This constitutes of a race between the pawn and the opposing king. Basically, in endgames, since material is very limited, especially in pawn endgames, the objective is not immediate checkmate so much as to get a queen and to checkmate with that. Now, this is assuming that you know how to checkmate with a queen, and if you don't know that, you need to learn that in order to win these pawn endgames. So, the objective here for white is to promote that queen, and the objective for black is to stop that promotion. As we can see here by playing the moves, black's king does manage to stop the pawn. But however, there's a very simple technique. It's very fast and very easy to learn that allows you to quickly evaluate any of these positions, no matter where the pawn and king are. It's called the square of the pawn, and it's called so because you make a square by first you draw an imaginary line from the pawn to the promotion square. Then you basically make a square around the pawn, going sideways, like this. If the king is inside this square, with the pawn moving, then it will catch the pawn. If not, if it's outside the square on, say, h5 or g2, then it will not catch the pawn. And since the king is on f3, it will catch the pawn, as we saw. And if it's outside, then it will not catch the pawn. This works no matter where the pawn is. If, say, the pawn is on c5, then you draw the same square. And it also goes in both directions. And there is one minor exception. If the pawn is on the second rank, say a2, then at first glance it would seem that in this position the black king is actually inside this square if we draw it. However, as we all know, pawns on the second rank can move two squares at once, which shrinks this square by 2, and the black king can't do the same thing, so it's outside of the square and the pawn promotes.
We hope you enjoyed this video demo from Chess.com. Subscribe today to finish this video and get unlimited access to our full video library. Your membership also includes access to Chess Mentor, the most advanced interactive training tool available anywhere. You'll also get full access to the Opening Explorer, Tactics Trainer, and much, much more. So sign up today and get serious about improving your game.